Have you ever just browsed the Disney Cruise Line, looking online, searching through, trying to find the best deal possible on a Disney cruise? That is me. That is me almost every day, just trying to find a good deal, and I realized something that got me thinking. The Alaskan, Bohemian, Caribbean, Mediterranean, those cruises are relatively similar year after year, and I look back in the past, and there are some seasons that are less expensive, but you can usually, get a general sense of when they will be more expensive and when they will be less expensive. It kind of follows a trend. And Disney is really smart about this. They choose the pricing for each itinerary based on the time of year and when families will be able to go together and what they can charge and what they will get. They're really smart about this. They have a lot of people thinking about these numbers. But there is one itinerary that I noticed that's relatively less expensive than the other itineraries, and that's to Canada. If you log on to the Disney Cruise Line website and you look at the 7-night adventures, you'll notice the Alaskan and Caribbean cruises look great and the prices are relatively similar, but you can see that, $3,000–4,000 for 2 guests, somewhere in that range. But then when we look at the Alaskan 7-night adventure, we can see that the price is significantly lower. The first thought that came to my mind when I realized that the Canadian cruises are far less expensive than the Caribbean cruises is that they're probably far less popular, and that would make sense if you consider the most popular cruise destination is usually in the Caribbean. I did a little bit more digging and found that Disney offers discounts for these cruises quite frequently, 25% off on some of the guaranteed inside or maybe even veranda staterooms with restrictions, and it got me thinking about what the future of the Disney Cruise Line might look like. What I've noticed about Disney is that they like to offer a lot of different options and eventually find what guests are most interested in and then focus on that. And the first thing that comes to mind for me that I can relate it to is the Disney dining plan. If you've been a Disney enthusiast for a little while now, you've probably noticed that the free dining plan that's offered yearly at Walt Disney World has changed over the years. Disney has changed that free dining plan in many different ways, many different times, and you can find more details about the free dining plan right there at the I button. I made a video all about it, but the short version is Disney has adapted this plan to fit as many customers as possible. That phrase is very important because Disney tries to meet the wants of as many guests as possible. Of course, I would love more table service dining options and several Dole Whips a day with the free dining plan, but that's not how Disney has crafted this special discount. And the point I'm trying to make with this is that when it comes to these special discounts, Disney tweaks it as they go to see what guests want. So my theory, and it's just a theory, is that Disney offers several different itineraries and see what guests are most interested in. And this brings me back to the Disney Cruise Line and thinking about the Canadian cruise and other different cruise itineraries. The question that I would imagine Disney is constantly looking at when it comes to the Disney Cruise Line is which destinations are the most popular and what should the future destinations look like. My thought for today, and keep in mind this is just me thinking about it, is that Disney sees that maybe the Canadian cruises aren't as popular as several other itineraries, so they are probably looking into the future to see what they can add next. With that in mind, there are 3 new ships on their way for the Disney Cruise Line fleet. Where could they be going in the future? Now that is a good question. Where could Disney be going in the future, and what are the most popular cruise destinations right now? Currently, the most popular ones are the Caribbean, Bahamas, Alaska. We know that, and Disney knows that. They have cruises there right now. Then you have Mediterranean, and then it gets very interesting. We have Panama Canal, Hawaii, and Asia. And then we have Europe and even Australia, and that really gets me thinking. Now I have a feeling that Disney's going to take these new cruise ships once they're done and bring them to the Bahamas and the Caribbean, at least to start. Now that could mean that we might have more itineraries in the Bahamas and the Caribbean, but it also could mean that Disney could take the dream and the fantasy, take them out of the Bahamas and Caribbean, and use them somewhere entirely new. Now if this all comes true and the dream and fantasy are taken away from the Caribbean and Bahamas and used somewhere else, where is the first spot that I would like to see Disney go for a cruise? Personally, I want to see them go to Hawaii. Disney doesn't currently offer a cruise to Hawaii, but they have in the past, so we know you're capable of it, Disney. I have never been to Hawaii before, and I would love to go from California to Hawaii, maybe tour those islands, an island a day. That would be a dream come true. I've heard nothing but great things about that adventure. Another cruise that I would love to experience, and this might be a stretch, but what about a cruise from the United States all the way to Japan, maybe from Alaska to Japan and Tokyo Disneyland, that would be amazing. I would imagine that that would be maybe a 7 or 10 night adventure, but wow, what a dream come true that would be. Now, as exciting as Australia would be to see on a cruise ship, I have a feeling like it wouldn't be leaving from the United States, so that might be a little bit tougher for me to get to, but if it's something that you would be interested in, let me know in the comments below. So what do you think? Do you think Disney might stop going to Canada if they're not as popular, maybe at least for a little while, go somewhere else? Maybe you've been on a Canadian cruise and you loved it with Disney, let us know in the comments below. And if you can think of any other places that you would love to go to, let me know as well. Maybe Hawaii, are you with me there? Let me know in the comments below, I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for being a part of the magic with me. Until next time, have a magical day.